Hello, this is Ed Rigsbee. I'm the executive director of the Cigar Philanthropy Through Fun. One of our projects is the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame, where professional speakers get to showcase, they become inductees, and you, the association executives, at the end of the year get to vote for who is going to be the nominee. We've been doing this for a few years, and the main goal is to help you, the association meeting decision maker, to find new and exciting speakers that maybe you wouldn't have found otherwise. So let's jump into it. Do you often find yourself yearning for more productivity in your day? Longing for IT projects to wrap up as triumphant successes? Well, meet Jamie Champagne. She's a powerhouse in the realm of business analysis, dedicated to injecting value into every interaction, building engagement through exciting collaboration, and leveraging technology so that it works for you. I give you Jamie.
Thank you, Ed. Technology is transforming our world at an unprecedented pace, creating jobs and opportunities that didn't exist just a few years ago. And as we stand on the brink of this digital evolution, one thing is clear: the roles of tomorrow may not even have been defined yet, let alone a job description today. How do you prepare for a future that's still being written? By mastering the skills that will never go out of demand. Business analysis. Business analysis is all about making complex decisions simple. You have to see the big picture while understanding all the day-to-day small details. This ability, no matter the environment, the technology, or whatever changes may come our way, is the crucial skill set of our leaders tomorrow. And we call this business analysis. Now, the challenge is that no one wakes up saying, I want to be a business analyst when I grow up. Have some fun with that and say it correctly. Who wants to be a business analyst, right? We all probably know that one person on the team who just loves to go down into the weeds and overanalyze every detail. Yet this discerning eye of business analysis cannot just be on the details, but also has to be on the business as part of the value proposition. See, I personally did the same function, the analysis work, in government, finance, telecom, and healthcare industries, and marveled that not only did I succeed in each of these industries, it was all the same things I was doing. I was talking to people about their jobs, find out what was and wasn't working. I was brainstorming with developers for ideas and designing training on new solutions. And these weren't all IT projects. Sure, they often included technology components due to our digital world, but I wasn't always reporting to the IT team. What amazed me was that while I had to change some vocab and acronyms around, it was doing the exact same work each time and still being able to add incredible value no matter where I went. That's when you realize it's the skill sets, not the job title or position or even the industry. It's the ability to understand what is truly required, recommend the right solutions at the right time for the right reasons, and follow that value proposition well beyond the project lifecycle and into the long-term success of the business. And so the skill sets for tomorrow are the skills in our change catalyst of the future. Business analysis skills you need today for tomorrow's profit are around data-informed decision-making, full application and valuation of your technology investments, and global communication and collaboration that is based on facilitated engagement. These critical skills, built upon a foundation of delivering the maximum value for minimum effort, are what builds agility into the business, from the day-to-day operations to global mergers and acquisitions of tomorrow. So you have to ask, how am I fostering these skills of tomorrow in our organization today? And just by doing that, you already have the right attitude. It's about the skill set. It's about value delivery. It's about making faster, smarter decisions so that businesses can focus on their why, while also process improving and understanding the details of the what and how to optimize for future implementations. It doesn't matter the who. But it's a lot to ask of someone to be both a strategic thinker while also being knowledgeable of the detailed work. That's exactly why business analysis professionals are modern day superheroes. Now, you don't have to advertise for a superwoman. Roles are evolving almost as fast as we're upgrading our smart devices. What's most important is asking, where are the business analysis skill sets in your organization? You have to be a business analyst on yourself and ask, what skills do we have? What skills do we need? And then determine the best path forward to deliver that needed value. As then you are truly building business analysis into the value of your organization. And building skill sets into your teams today will bring about a comfort level for your tomorrow. What I mean is that instead of worrying about the latest and greatest AI app that just came out, or worried about missing out on cryptocurrency investments and timing of the markets, if you have the skill sets on board that are looking at these trends and activities, but then turning around and analyzing where and how, and most importantly, why these changes are important to your organization, then you can feel confident to weather the environmental mood swings because you have people analyzing what it means to your business. Because it's about the right skill sets, using the right techniques to help make the right decisions at the right times for the right reasons. That'll keep your organization not only afloat, but successful for years to come. And those skill sets are what we find in the training, the technology, and practical application. And more importantly, the investment in business analysis. Thanks, Ed.
Hey, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate what you have to say as far as how we can collaborate. I think that that's something gravely needed in business today. So let's jump over to our next showcase speaker. Jim Harris has been focused on AI since, you ready for this? 1997, when IBM's Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov in chess. He's been speaking professionally for 35 years. In 2024, Jim was named the Speaker of the Year by the largest CEO coaching organization in Canada from among 500 speakers. His latest book, Blindsided, a #1 international bestseller, is published in 80 countries worldwide. I give you Jim Harris.
Thank you so much, Ed. We're going to be looking at this AI revolution, and we'll talk about dozens of different applications. So we'll start here.
I am so excited to be talking to you today about AI and Gen AI. Every single day we're seeing mind-blowing new applications that are coming out that are literally transforming the way business works, the way associations work, the way government and society as a whole works. We're seeing use cases with productivity increases of up to 10,000x. That's staggering. We'll talk about dozens of applications, and this is the first one.
我非常兴奋，今天能和大家谈论人工智能。
So I don't know if
和生
anyone
成式
speaks
人工智能。
Chinese, but we'll
我们
skip
每
this
天都
one.
在看到。Ich freue mich sehr, heute mit Ihnen über KI und generative KI zu sprechen. Jeden Tag sehen wir मैं आज आपसे कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता और जनरेटिव एआई के बारे में बात करने के लिए बहुत उत्साहित हूं। हर एक दिन Je suis tellement enthousiaste de vous parler aujourd'hui. De l'IA et de l'IA générative chaque jour. Estoy muy emocionado de hablar con ustedes hoy sobre IA e IA generativa. Cada día vemos.
So why would I begin with this? I can take what I record in English and translate it into dozens of different languages. Why is this important? Well, in my city, Toronto, there are more than 200 mother tongues spoken. We're the most culturally diverse city in the world. What are the implications for sales and marketing if I can have my material, FAQs, in dozens of languages? I was working with a convenience store chain, and the majority of their franchisees are new immigrants. So what are the implications for training and development if I can reach them in their mother tongue? Here's another example. This image we're looking at, I can either go to stock image and get something like this for my presentations for $500, or I can go to DALL-E or Midjourney and type in, give me the word why on a piece of white paper pinned to a corkboard, and get this image that I can use forever for free. What are the implications for marketing for associations and businesses? I can stand in front of a green screen with a video and record myself for just 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, feed it into an AI, and it will know my voice, my visage, my hand movements. And then I can feed it an 80,000 word script and create hours of training and development video. What are the implications for training and development professionals? This is the famous Vermeer painting, woman with pearl earrings, but it's a static image. Imagine I could feed it into an AI and say, what would it look like if she were alive? And boom, I get this image. I go to more than 70 conferences a year. And since ChatGPT came out, this is Google's I/O Developer Conference, just summarizing 3.5 days of GabFest from the CEO.
AI, generative AI, uses AI to bring AI.
This is really what it's like at every single conference I go to. I go to CES, Davos, MWC, and 60 other conferences a year. So at the Consumer Electronics Show this year in January 2024, I was listening to Pat Gesslinger, who's on the left here, be interviewed by a NASDAQ reporter. Pat's the CEO of Intel. And here's what he said, a little clip.
These AI use cases are demonstrating such extraordinary economic value, right? It isn't just that, we're going to make money or the other technology providers are going to make money associated with it. You're creating new economic value. Right? We're taking use cases, and having 10, 100,000, 10,000x productivity improvements. This is stunning as a result. And because there's so much economic value in these use cases, the world is motivated to figure it out.
When I give a customized presentation, I take the audience through AI productivity tools, and there are dozens of them. There's 2,000 that show productivity increases from 2x to more than 10,000x. So the poster boy for AI today is ChatGPT, which when it launched attracted 100 million users in the first 60 days, making it the fastest adopted technology in the world's history. And McKinsey, the Global Institute, analyzes AI by industry and shows high and low use cases globally. McKinsey says that we're going to see $4.4 trillion a year of economic value added by 2030. That is a staggering number. And here is something that is shocking. That same report says that 30% of current US jobs will be automated in whole or part by 2030. And so this is a huge challenge. 50% of American workers fear AI. So let's look at the impact on jobs. First off, there are going to be 555 to 900 million jobs created by 2030. The bad news is there's going to be 400 to 800 million lost. So the question for executives is, do you want to be on the side where you're creating jobs or losing jobs? And this in turn has huge implications for upskilling, taking, say, for instance, 70% of my skills are useful and I need 30% new, or reskilling, which is entirely new skills altogether. This means we're going to have an industrial level of training that we need to have. The speed at which we're living in an environment that's the fastest changing environment in the world's history. The airline industry took 68 years to reach Pokemon Go, and here on the bottom right, ChatGPT took 50 days. So the question is your organization changing as fast as the market is? So why is all this happening? Well, you've all heard about Moore's Law, the doubling of processor power every 18 months while staying at the same price point. Back in the early 70s, there were 2,000 transistors on an Intel CPU. And today on NVIDIA's Blackwell, it's 208 billion. That in turn means that the price of computing has changed fundamentally. A gigaflop is doing 1 billion transactions in a single second. And in 1961, a gigaflop was $164 billion. Today, it's a single cent, and that's on my smartphone.
Inconceivable!
For all you Princess Bride fans. So if you want to have more than a dozen AI resources, take your smartphone, open your camera app, and focus on this QR code, and you'll be able to download a dozen different AI resources to help you. I do customized presentations for so many different industries. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm delighted to be here with you today. And you can reach me at jim@jimharris.com. I'm going to throw it over to you, Ed, but I just want to finish with one explosive idea. We're living in the highest inflationary environment in US for 40 years. And so a phone call from Paris or to Paris from New York, adjusted for inflation, was $10 a minute. So if you had a 30-person call for 3 hours focusing on strategy, that was a $50,000 call. But with Zoom, it's free. The point here is innovation, tech, and AI are hugely deflationary, and we need to embrace them to fight this inflation, the highest level we're facing in 40 years. I'm so excited to work with you, and I throw it back to you, Ed.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Very interesting information. And as a matter of fact, for anybody that would like to see more of what Jim has to say, if you can't afford to hire him, you can go to my website, rigsbee.com, go to the free workshops for association executives, and you'll discover a brand new AI workshop that I did with Jim Harris. So there you go. Costing you some money, Jim. Okay. Let's move to our third speaker of the day. Jeff Rogers motivates association members to think differently, bond as a team, and change the future with his interactive keynotes and workshops. Jeff is an award-winning TV personality, a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author, and holds certifications in innovation from, are you ready for this? Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. Jeff owns the original School of Improvisation, the Players Workshop, literally where Yes and began. And many of us have heard Yes and from quite a number of speakers. He also just recently won the National Speakers Association Last Story Standing competition. Let's welcome improviser, storyteller, and the humblest man alive, Jeff Rogers.
Well, thanks, Ed. You know what? I'm just going to ask. Can we take a breath? Is anybody else just completely mind blown with all the information that Jim just gave us, and that Jamie gave us some instruction on how to deal with it? The thing is that it's a lot. Okay. I mean, it's not just the last couple of speakers were fantastic. I mean, we've gone through a lot over the last 10 years. A lot of stuff's happened. Let me just ask you a question. Who had global pandemic at the start of 2020 on their decade bingo card? Huh? How about AI? Who had Skynet from the Terminator movies coming online in 2023? Here's one just from a couple weeks ago. Who had Joe Biden dropping out of the race? Politics aside, I mean, who does that? It's a lot. It's a lot for us to deal with. Change is happening at a pace that would make Sha'Carri Richardson say, man, that was fast. Huh? That was really fast. And people are reacting in extreme ways as well. Remember the whole quiet quitting epidemic? Yeah. People are looking to take a moment, take a breath. How do you deal with this? In fact, a study by DDI suggests that 57% of people quit because of their bosses, right? And 37% reported that they've considered leaving because of their bosses. If you add those together, it's 94% of employees are in a living hell with their manager or their boss. But think about this for a second. Are there that many bad bosses in the world? I mean, 94%? That's a lot. Or could it be something else? Could it be that there's some other things going on here? That the environment that they're being made to work in has one mindset, and that's production, production, production. And I don't blame these corporations or these companies. I mean, it's completely understandable. The problem is that mindset is a leftover from the industrial age, where the idea of just grinding it out 10 hours a day didn't really utilize everything that an employee could offer, everything that you can offer. So what did people do? They start quitting. People wanted to follow their bliss. I would love to do a little bit of research about how many people actually found their bliss and how many people just found a different job. Look, the trick is not to follow your bliss out the door, but rather to find your bliss in what you do. And for that to happen, you have to apply your full self. That means you have to work with your creativity, right? Your imagination, but that's not how we're trained to think. You see, we use our experience from the past to make judgments about the future. And the problem is the past, as I've just shown you, is a terrible predictor of the future. Please see pandemic here. So I tell you what, let me show you exactly what I mean. I want to time travel with you into the future, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little time travel trip. Ooh. All right. This is freaking me out a little bit, actually. All right. So we're going to travel into the future 1 year. And I want you to really think about that. You're 1 year in the future. We've all come back here online. We're all wearing the same clothes. Yes, it's a little weird. Just go with it. And I want you to think of something that you've accomplished in that year. And remember, we're in the future now. So it would be something you accomplished in the past year, something that you did. Go ahead. I'll give you a second. Go ahead. Think of something. Got something? Anything at all? Maybe a couple of things? All right. So real quick, how many of you accomplished something work related? Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe you got a new job, or maybe you got a raise at work. Yeah. And so usually in the chat, I'd see a lot of responses and maybe remark on some of those. Well, okay. How about travel? How many people traveled? Yeah. All right. A number of people like to travel. Maybe that's you. Maybe you thought, oh, I went to Venice. So I finally got to Venice. Here's a good one. How many people finished a project in their house, like a kitchen or a bathroom or something? You know why? Because there's always somebody who says, here's what I want to achieve in the next year. I want to finish the tile in the bathroom. No judgment. It's a big job. But let me ask this. How many of you won the lottery? Not as many responses in the chat usually. Okay, tell you what, how about this one? How many of you wrote the story of your life, had it made into a movie where you starred as yourself and then won an Oscar for your portrayal of you? Nobody? Not one person? Let me ask you a question. Why not? The only parameter I gave you was that we time traveled into the future. Literally anything might be possible. I'll tell you why. Because we used the lens of the past to measure what we could achieve in the future. But that's a poor way of getting us to think about what's possible. See, I think our what if got broken. And today, I'm going to show you how to fix your what if, how to use your as if, and then how to create your if then. And if we can do that, I promise you that you are going to feel more aligned, engaged, and even excited about going to work. Are you ready? Well, I'd love to be able to show that to you. And I'd love to show it to your group. So if you're curious at all, please come visit me at jeffrogersunlimited.com and let's find out how we can fix your what if. Thanks so much.
Jeff, that was an excellent cliffhanger there. I love that. I'll have to remember these cliffhangers to get the association executives to call. Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now we got a kind of a fun thing that we like to do at the end of all the showcases. We have the world's only professional summarizer, Dale Irvin, and he is an inductee into the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame. And what he does is he attends your meeting and he comes to the sessions and he sits and he listens. And his whole idea is to kind of pick up on things that maybe your attendees overlooked. He does it in a humorous monologue, which helps your attendees to retain that information. So I'll let Dale talk a little bit more about what he does and get him give you an example of what he does. Dale, take it over.
Thank you, Ed. And thank you to everybody who is still watching. It's a wonderful thing. I am the world's only professional summarizer. What I do is I attend meetings both actually and virtually and listen to all the speakers, look at everything that's going on, and then periodically I will give you a summary of what has happened in the form of a comedy monologue that I write on the spot. And we have found that this makes everybody listen a little more so they get the jokes. They don't leave the room early because they want to hear it. Anyhow, I took some notes and I listened to these three speakers for the first time, just as you have. So let me tell you what I have learned from this virtual showcase. First, we started with Jamie Champagne. And the first thing I think she said is the roles of tomorrow may not even be baked today. So I don't know if I got that right, but you don't want stale rolls. And then she's a business analyst and said, you want to pronounce that correctly. You don't want to be a business analyst, which I believe would be Sigmund Freud and or possibly your plumber. And then I experienced one of the problems with virtual speaking. My computer, what's the technical term, went cattywampus for a little bit, and I found the problem and was able to jump back online, but it just happened. So Jamie, that's really all I heard of your program, and I'm sure the rest of it was just swell. Then we heard. And I don't know why it happened to my computer, because it's a good computer. It's a Commodore 365. I've had it for a couple of years and it works well. Then we heard from Jim Harris, who started out by talking in tongues, or rather different languages, because he used AI to do it. L-W-A-I-N-K, do it day without AI, eh? So that's you figure out that little Latin. And then as he was talking in the different languages, his lips didn't exactly match the words. So it's a little bit like watching a Godzilla movie. And then apparently he said AI can do anything except give us better candidates for president. And then he showed a clip, and the clip was very weird. Let me see if I can reproduce it. AI, WTF, enough with the AI, all right? And AI is going to add $4 trillion to the economy. Of course, those are Canadian dollars, so you do the math on that one. And then it got confusing. He went on, and I got very confused. I felt like a business analyst. I didn't know what was going on. And he talked about Moore's law, which is about transistors. Let me reiterate, Cole's law, which is about cabbage and mayonnaise. I'll wait a second on that one. Cole's law. Anyhow, and then he ended with the fact that it's just too darn expensive to place a phone call to Paris, so send an email. Then we heard from Jeff Rogers, an award-winning TV personality, an improv master, and he started out by saying, "Can we all just take a breath?" Yeah, that's good advice. Breathing is kind of fundamental. I don't think you need to remind people to breathe, but there you go. And he said, change is happening too fast. And I agree, there's just too much change. What we need to do is to slow it down to get rid of our change. When I hear that a man died penniless, I say, good for him. He got rid of all of his change. He's living the dream. And then he said, find your bliss and then follow it. Well, if I'm following my bliss, I'll never catch up to it. So I don't even know what my bliss is. And then pretend he took us a year in the future and said, what did you do this last year? Well, I had a birthday, you know. He said, did you go to Venice? I go, no, my basement flooded. It was kind of the same thing. And I said, did you make a movie and win an Oscar? No, that's not how the movie business works. I don't care who you are. Anyhow, those are some of the things that I picked up from this brief showcase. I would love to do it for your next virtual meeting and just listen and then tell the people exactly what they learned. So visit me at daleirvin.com. You can sign up there for free for my Friday Funnies, where every Friday in your email, I will give you a recap, a summary of the oddest stories in the week's news. It's accompanied by a 4-minute video. It'll make you laugh and set you off on the right weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dale. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks to all of our showcase people today. Thanks to the association execs that jumped on to watch this. Just as a reminder, all of these people, every speaker, their individual video will be at the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame on their own special page. You go to the directory and you can look at them again. You can share that with all of your staff and your convention committee people, and feel free to search out the speakers in the directory. And at the end of the year, based on email address, when you get the opportunity to vote for Virtual Speaker Hall of Fame, there's 5 inductees a year. And I'm sure each person on the call today would love to be, well, except for Dale, he's already an inductee. But other than Dale, would love to become an inductee. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you. Bye-bye now.